Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel Skinny on Carbs. My name is Andrea, and on this channel I try to use my background in biology, histopathology, and naturopathic medicine to help you live the life that you dream of and deserve. Alright, so in the last video we were talking about fat oxidation, and what I basically said to you guys was, I'll post a link below, okay, but basically what I said to you guys, that's my neighbor, is that you have to rethink the fat loss game. You got to understand that fat is an organ system. It's an endocrine organ, which means it's hormone releasing, right? And it's also a protective mechanism. It's what your body uses in order to store xenobiotics or environmental toxins, okay? And so the game of fat loss or the game of fat reduction really is a game of making your hormones happy and putting your body in a place where it's comfortable to detox, okay? So let's talk about the detoxing, because this is where a lot of the lipid oxidation actually happens, is in the detox pathways, all right? And when I say the detox pathways, I'm talking about things like autophagy, okay? That's a main one. Everybody knows about that one. So I like to say that one right off the rip because people know about that one, right? So you're mainly oxidizing your lipids at rest. And the reason for that is because I just said to you that lipid oxidation is happening via the detox pathways. Well, your detox pathways happens at rest, okay? Because you need to be in the parasympathetic side of your nervous system in order for those pathways to activate. You can't be in the sympathetic side of your nervous system and be detoxing. It doesn't really work that way, okay? So if you have enough calories and you are freeing up enough energy by stepping out of the sympathetic side of your nervous system and going into the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, now you are upregulating your detox pathways. So what does that look like? What I'm saying is, the way we eat causes a lot of stress on our system, right? We're eating inappropriately and we're eating at the wrong times. So let's break those two things down. One, we are eating complex structures. So what do I mean by complex structures? What I mean is we are eating complex, we're complex beings in terms of our thinking. I don't know why. But we like to praise complex carbs. We like to praise complex proteins, especially proteins. We're a very protein obsessed society. I'm not sure why. And we like to eat fats. Okay? However, your body is not really running on those things. Your body is looking for simple sugars in the form of glucose, fructose, sucrose. Your body is looking for free fatty acids. That's what it's utilizing. And your body is also looking for amino acids, okay? And so every time you eat these complex structures, you have to ignite a whole digestive system in order to break them down. And you break them down in multiple steps. So it is a huge energy investment just to break down the complex structures that you're constantly feeding your body all day long, sometimes well into the night. You're feeding your body all these complex structures that it has to pump a lot of energy in order to break them down. And when I say energy, I'm talking about things like enzymes, okay? Your body is using up a lot of enzyme potential just to break down the structures that you're eating. It takes, a lot of acid to break down a lot of the meat and complex protein structures that you guys are eating. And then on top of taking in complex structures, we cook the complex structures on top of it, and we cook it in an effort to help with digestion. But what we're doing is we are creating even more cross linkages between protein structures, basically, and glycation between the protein and the sugars. And we are making it even harder for your body to break this down, okay? And just so you guys know, you don't have enzymes to break up cross linkages between proteins. Okay, you don't have that. You don't have it for glycation either. So the links between the sugars and the cross linkage between the sugar and the protein, you don't have enzymes to break those down. That's why they're so problematic. Okay, I know you guys have heard of advanced glycation end products. That was all the rage a few years ago with the barbecued meats and things like that, or cooking foods at high temperature. Well, whenever you cook food in general, you create cross linkage between protein structures, and you don't have enzymes to break those down. So we are stressing our digestive system from the time we start eating food. We stress our digestive system. We stress our pancreas with creating enzymes in order to break foods down that we really shouldn't be eating. Okay? And we shun the foods that have the simple nutrition. So we shun the fresh fruits and the fresh vegetables, okay? But these are the foods that contain the glucose, the sucrose, the fructose. These are the foods that contain the amino acids and the free fatty acids and the omegas that we need. These are the foods that contain the simple nutrition, not the complex nutrition, the simple nutrition that we need in order to run the functions of our body. Not only that, but a lot of us are eating our foods devoid of the cofactors, the coenzymes, the water, and the fiber that's needed in order to assist with not only the digestion, but the assimilation of the nutrition. All right. So this is a 3-part thing. You have digestion, you have absorption, and then you have assimilation. So how are we going to address these things? Okay, so you eat simple structures with enzymes in them. Okay, so when you eat fresh foods or when you eat fresh fruits and vegetables, the enzymes are coming intact. You didn't cook, you didn't treat the food, and so the enzymes are intact. And yes, you're going to digest some of those enzymes in your stomach acids. However, some of them will make it through, and it will assist in the breakdown of the foods that you are eating. Okay, so that's how you're gonna address that. The next thing is, if you're eating foods with the fibers and the water, you're also feeding your gut microbiome. That's gonna help to assist with the breakdown and digestion of the food as well. And the postbiotics that gut microbiome is releasing helps to feed the epithelial lining of your gut, which keeps it nice and tight. Okay, so now we're talking about absorption. That keeps it nice and tight and healthy. So now you're addressing the second part of the whole digestion, absorption, assimilation routine. Next thing, if you're eating the foods with the cofactors, the enzymes, the minerals, and all the other phytochemicals or phytonutrients, aka fresh fruits and vegetables, right? If you're eating those things in the food, you're helping now with the assimilation. Okay, because a lot of these nutrients, when they make it to where they're going, their destination, they need all these other vitamins and minerals in order for them to work. So let's say we're talking about your mitochondria and electron transport chain, right? You need a whole host of minerals and metals in order to make this thing work. You need sodium and potassium, you need magnesium, your thyroid needs iodine. You need a lot of other things more than just your carbs, your proteins, and your fats. Okay, so now you are helping with the assimilation of the nutrients that you are eating. So that's how you tackle very simply those 3 things. Okay, in terms of digestion, absorption, and assimilation. Now, let's talk about the other part of what we were discussing in the video before I went off track on this, right? So first I said we are eating inappropriately, and then I said we're eating untimely. I think that's what I said. But if that's not what I said, that's what I meant. But I think that's what I said. So we are eating untimely. And so this is also hindering lipid oxidation. What do I mean by eating untimely? Okay, so not only are we stressing out our body and asking for a huge energy investment in order to break our food down. I mean, you cannot believe the amount of blood supply that has to go to your digestive system just to digest the foods that you eat. And you're doing this several times a day. 3, 4, 5 times a day you're doing this, right? So it's a huge energy investment. Blood has to go there. Everything, like everything is centered on trying to break the food down. Okay, so when you do this, when you are in that part, because you can't run, that's a different part of your nervous system. Okay, sympathetic and parasympathetic. You can't really run the both of them at the same time. In order to break fats down, oxidize your lipids, you need to be running your detox pathways. That's what we were discussing earlier. And so the second part of running the detox pathways is you have to rest the digestive system. All right. So you need to make it easy on your digestive system, meaning eat easily, eat foods that can be broken down easily, eat foods that don't require heavy digestion, eat foods that come with all the cofactors and the enzymes, eat foods that come with enzymes to break them down. This is the type of foods that you need to focus on if you want to help with or assist with lipid oxidation. And the other thing is you need to time the nutrients appropriately. So what do I mean by time the nutrients appropriately? So what you're going to do is you're going to eat when it is sunlight. You don't want to be running your digestive system at night. I just told you can't run two parts of your nervous system at the same time. You need to be in a certain side of your nervous system if you want to oxidize those lipids, because oxidation of the lipids equals detoxing of the lipids. You have to detox them. Your body is not going to just arbitrarily burn those lipids and put itself in danger. It's not going to do that. So you need to put your body at rest. And if you want to put your body at rest, it means you really should not be digesting at the times when you are ramping up your lipid oxidation, aka your detox pathways, and that is usually at night. Okay, now I'm not saying to you that your detox pathways or your autophagy pathways is some off and on switch that clicks in and clicks off. Like, it's not binary in that way. It's an ebb and flow system. However, if you want to intensify or if you want to maximize your lipid oxidation, or aka your detox pathways, then you gotta put your body in rest. Most of lipid oxidation happens at rest. It happens at rest. So and not just when you're sleeping. Even if you should break up your meals. Like, for instance, don't eat all day, constant, non-stop, with no rest in between. Give yourself a few hours in between each meal. If you eat, typically I will eat, I would put at least 4 to 5 hours in between meals, okay? If you eat a fast digesting meal, aka fruits, the fruits are digested. If you have a really good digestive system going, within 2 hours. Okay? Now you're at rest. You're not digesting. You can run a little bit of that autophagy process. You could burn a little bit of those lipids. Granted, if you're not stressed out, you're not busy, you're not, you can run those pathways during the day. I'm just saying that you should maximize it at night, because that's really when your body's running these things. And if you're not digesting your foods at night when you're sleeping, then you are maximizing lipid oxidation. So the idea again is to time your nutrition. Take in your calories during the daytime hours. Don't burden your body with digestion when you're going to sleep. Okay, I know there's a lot of people that say, the only way I get to sleep is if I eat a huge bowl of whatever. And really what you're doing is not resting. You're really putting yourself in a coma. So I told you that that digestion process is an energy drain, okay? And so what you do, and that's where the itis comes from, okay? Is when you eat something that's so hard to digest that your body is just, and this especially happens at night, and this is why people feel like they need to eat huge meals and then go to bed with a full tummy at night. It's because it puts them in a bit of a food coma, right? because your digestion is not running very hot and strong at night. So if you put something in there that is hard to digest, then it's a real drain on the body. And so you get really tired and you go to sleep and you feel like, oh my God, I slept so well. But you actually did not. You didn't run your rest and repair mechanisms at night when you were sleeping as optimally as you could have, because your body had to invest all that energy into digestion. And the way most people eat, digestion is going to take hours. So you're cutting your sleep, your real rest and repair time, down by hours. Okay, you're not maximizing your lipid oxidation this way. So I hope I helped you guys to really look at this in a different way. Okay, not in the typical way that everybody's looking at this with macros and there's a lot more nuance to it than that. And I feel like the more you know is the better you're going to do. It's the more forgiving you're going to be with yourself. It's the more understanding, and it's the more scientific you're going to be. You're going to understand how to conduct and run your own experiments in weight loss, okay? Because now you have a little bit of mechanistic knowledge as to how this works, and you're gonna be able to focus your times in your mental energy on things that is gonna give you more bang for your buck. So you're gonna, I feel like the focus on calories is really a waste of your energy, because you're never really going to figure it out. You're going to be spinning, you're going to be running in circles with that one, okay? So, anywho's it. Eat appropriately, eat timely. Maximize your lipid oxidation at night, because that's when your detox pathways are running, and lipid oxidation is a detox pathway game as well as a hormonal game. All right, so I hope that helps somebody. Bye.